So again, we want to thank you all for being here today on the kickoff day of Startup Week. My name is Kiana Daniels. I go by Key, and I am a third of the launch day and team that puts on Startup Week. And I have two entrepreneurs here that we're going to have a discussion about business in 2020. And so it will be a conversation. I will ask questions to them. They'll answer them. And then if you guys have any questions, we'll open it up to the floor. So just to kick things off, I have Fawn here, who is the founder and CEO of Massaman Thai Cuisine. And then we have Zante, who is the founder and CEO of These Deals Thrift Store. And these, again, are two local businesses here in Dayton. And we are going to talk about business in 2020. So, Zante, could you just give us a little bit more, a brief intro about who you are, what you're doing right now?
Yes. I'm on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, awesome. As she said, my name is Zante Richardson, and I'm the owner of These Deals, a thrifty boutique located in West Dayton on Siebenthaler, next to King's Furniture. And we've been open for 4 years now. So we're a thrift store style boutique. We do things a little bit different. We have other black-owned businesses, other small women-owned businesses in our store as well. We also offer small business Saturdays. So we do a wide range of things at the shop.
Well, is this an outfit from your store?
It is not, but it can be.
Well, this is the type of style that you will find at her thrift store. So definitely go check it out.
Yes.
Fawn?
Hi, I want to introduce myself. My name is Pakawan Krisman. I'm the owner of Masman Thai Cuisine. I've been business in more than 10 years. Start from the yummy burger in downtown with only 15 seats. Right now I have 50 seats to try to share all my stuff.
Thank you both for being here today. And my first question for both of you, and you can answer in any order, is how did the COVID-19 and the pandemic impact your business?
Well, I would like to say when I start on October 2020, I never know is COVID-19 gonna be on in our world, so I try to prepare. I have to go for it. So I start to building, and I have a lot of problem with the contract hard to find people to do, and find more people working for you, and I have to keep going for it. So that's the reason why I'm here.
Thank you for sharing that.
Awesome. So how COVID-19 affected my business, like a lot of other people's businesses, we had to close down for 2.5, 3 months. But also it affected us as far as it helped us to just transition into new and better things. So I think that question will probably come up later if we go into that details, but it affected my business, like as far as closing, laying off employees. Also, we were a staple in the community, so I think it was kind of like a damper, people not being able to come in, but we were able to transition. So
That's great. So my next question to add on to that is, did the pandemic and the time allow you to slow down? And if yes, how did you use that time, and were you able to accomplish some things? And if not, how did you navigate through that time of not being able to slow down?
yes, so it definitely helped me to slow down and just transition into what's next. So my store is mainly, I always thought of my store as just being local, Ohio, Dayton, and I'm like, I'm not going to expand. I just want to stay here. But the pandemic helped me to think outside of that. So right now we've been able to ship to 30 states, two countries. We've shipped thousands of products out of Dayton, Ohio. So I think that really just changed my mindset on what I need to do differently and how I can expand to become a global company.
Awesome.
So for myself is affect me is hard to find people to come to work, and people want to stay home. Everyone's afraid each other, so we try to do carry out more than dine in. So we have a lot of carry out. I never thought I gonna have a lot of business. Like I think it's gonna slow me down, but it won't slow me down. So the problem for me right now is hard to find people work for me.
So what methods are you using to try to find people to work?
Pardon me. Say again.
How are you trying to find talent to come work for you?
So skill, my entire restaurant and American restaurant are different. The Oriental restaurant is kind of tough work and a lot more ingredient, more prep, more ready to do before American do. Like a hamburger is so easy, but Asian food is not that easy, but it's good food. So it's kind of hard for people to learn how to do what we do, and when people come in the restaurant to working, it's they say it's hard work. So it's hard for me to find people work for me.
Have you guys been able to take advantage of any of the resources that became available as a result of the pandemic and COVID-19 to help your business?
Yes, we were able to take advantage of the PPP loans and different things like that, which I'm very grateful for, because in the past, as far as the SBA and things like that, when you're a really small business or you're a new business, they don't necessarily give you funding and things like that. So that was kind of like very helpful. It kind of even the playing field for a lot of people. It wasn't based on how much money you made or things like that. So I think that was very helpful as far as resources are concerned.
And for me, it's nothing helpful yet on everything on by the time when I opened the business is kind of tough for me, because on COVID hit me right away, and by the time I try to loan application for PPP, I can pass because the timing is not on matching so I have to deal all myself. So you have to stand for yourself to do this business to grow in.
So how have you managed that, having to do it by yourself? Did you have reserve funding to help you stay open?
On that time is I cannot opening because I just building on that time. So the construction, I cannot find a good one because they have problem also. They cannot find the people to work for me. So on my construction is used almost 2 years to finish my building. So it's very tough for me to go for that. And is still have problem with the high people right now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for sharing that. So also during the 2020 pandemic, we all experienced as a society a lot of social unrest. And so I want to kind of switch gears there just to ask you questions about that. So what are the top three lessons you learned or are learning about yourself, about your business, and our society as a result of the pandemic and the current and social and climate issues going on?
I would say that the thing that I learned the most is that we need each other more than we thought we needed each other. Like, I think everybody kind of worked in silos, or, the Fortune 500 companies didn't think they needed a little man, and it just showed that everybody needs everybody. Like, we all are just circulating money around. We needed the fast food restaurants. We needed people working at Walmart, people working at Kroger's. Like, those people were considered unskilled workers, but they actually were the people that kept us all going, kept us all strong, kept us all fed and clothed and things like that. So I think that was a lesson that I learned, just to appreciate people that are considered, those unskilled workers, but they're actually very important to our economy. They're very important to everybody. I think that just showed that. The other lesson that I learned, that when you go through, the other lesson that I learned, like I said, we need each other more than we think, and mental health is so very important. When we were isolated from one another, it was just very important to keep your mental health together and not lose focus. When people were dying all around us and businesses were closing and things like that, it was very mentally exhausting. So I think definitely having mental fortitude was important during that time, as well as realizing that we're more resilient than we think we are. So surviving a pandemic, at this point, when the pandemic hit, I was 3 years into business, and I had already endured a fire at my shop, a flood, a break-in, having to move. So all of those things were detrimental, and the pandemic just seemed like just one more thing that I had to endure. But at that point, my mental capacity was a lot better. I didn't fall apart when it happened. When all those other things happened, I fell apart. I was distraught. I was emotional. So the lesson I learned that I'm more resilient than I thought I was. So
Thank you.
So for me, it's hard to a lot of things coming out when I starting doing that, and COVID come hit me, and I have to careful for on by the time is like Asian head coming up, so I have to careful for a lot of things. I have to read the new, learning a lot of things. So make sure is the people head is not come too near me, and I try to make people love each other. Talking is nice way, and on human being, I like to people to have more love than right now, not have to be hating each other. So the world gotta be safe and be along together. That's the way I thought. I don't know I explained good enough or not because I'm the second language from American.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And you touched on an important point, Zante, about the mental wellness of entrepreneurs. And I think that usually in entrepreneurship and business, we don't really touch on mental wellness, but it's something that really plagues us all. So I would like for you guys to kind of share what were some of the things that you did to work through the mental stress of like closings of business and us having to shut down, and how did you guys work through that as entrepreneurs? I do believe that's a conversation we should have more often.
absolutely, I totally agree. I really took the time to rest initially. So as an entrepreneur, it was like I was go, 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 always on the go, thinking of the next thing. What do I need to do next for my business? But in the beginning, I took the time to rest and realizing it was okay to rest and not beat myself up about it. Everybody was on rest. It was like everybody go to sleep, night, night, everybody rest. So it wasn't the pressure to try to perform or to try to figure out the next thing. It was like, there's nothing we can do, so just rest. So I think that was the initial thing that I took, to rest. And then I started to shift my mindset. Instead of woe is me, because I had that mindset for a while in the beginning of entrepreneurship. It was woe is me, why is this happening to me? I cried a lot, I was depressed. Probably the first year and a half of entrepreneurship. I never thought about depression in that sense before when I was working in corporate America. So this time I told myself, you're not gonna cry and get depressed. I just did a lot of positive self-talk to myself. So
Thank you for sharing that. Affirmations are definitely something that
Yes.
everyone should try, especially in entrepreneurship when the journey gets lonely.
absolutely.
Fine.
For me, it's like I say, no one had come to work on. I start on the building. I cannot find people to work for me. You know what I do? I have to do myself. Even though lay the floor, clean the bathroom, fix the wall, everything. I try to push them so I can opening while the time they closing. So very, very worry about me. So how I can be open on time when the COVID, they be release COVID, something like that. So I try to push myself to do everything for me. So that is not worry about me too much because I work, I have to do all myself a lot and have to push people to work. So it's have to wait for COVID to open and try to start business the same time when they open.
So also on the social unrest that was happening, did it become clear to you guys as business owners what your contribution should be to society looking outside of your business? So usually a lot of entrepreneurs, they get involved with social issues when we have certain crises and things like that that make them do it. But do you know going forward what your contribution will be to our society as a business owner? What stances will you take, you know?
Oh, that's a good question. What stances and what, as far as in social unrest, what platform or what things that I'll contribute? What we've been able to contribute is, and I would like to continue, is offer a place of peace and calm in our community. So my business is in West Dayton, and a lot of people have negative connotations about West Dayton and things that's going on in West Dayton. So what my business provides is a place of peace, a place of calm, a place of where people feel comfortable to come and talk about their issues and how they feel about what's going on in society, how they feel about politics, or how they feel about the world, and offering that safe space for people. One example I have is when after the mass shooting, a lady came in and said, I have some things that I want to give you from my daughter. And we have these conversations with people that people are willing to open up. And I said, if you don't mind, how did she pass away, how old she was? And she told me that she passed away in the mass shooting, which was very disheartening but comforting that she felt comfortable enough to even share or to gift her daughter's things to us. So in that sense, like I said, providing a place of peace and comfort. When the tornadoes happened, it was, we were able to do things like clothing drives and give away clothing and help in that respect. And the social justice, the racial social justice, I'm still trying to find my place and my voice in that. But at this point, just providing a place of peace and people feel comfortable coming to the shop and just being themselves and feeling loved and all that good stuff in the midst of chaos.
Thank you, that's awesome.
And for my run business like a restaurant, so I have to make people trust in the foods, trust in what I do, and try to show the customer how is the safe when you come in the restaurant to eat or something like that, to make sure they can trust me to how to cook and serving for them to eat.
Thank you. Have you all had any aha moments as a result of the upturn of our society and everything? We are in a new normal right now, and so have you had any aha moments?
I would say mine was, like I said, just that I'm built for this. Like at this point, like I said, I had a fire break in, a flood, having to move, and I'm like, what next? We endured a tornado and everything. And in the beginning, I questioned myself as an entrepreneur, and I didn't feel confident in who I was and what I offered. And my aha moment during COVID was like, I have this. I got this. I can do this. I'm more than capable of doing this. And in the midst of that, in the midst of the pandemic, I wrote a book. So just having that opportunity, I didn't feel like I had enough before. And I was like, you know what, it's okay. You can do this. You can write the book. So that was kind of my aha moment of knowing that I'm capable of being an entrepreneur. So,
what is this book about?
Oh, glad that you said. What? How did this book come right here? It's called "It's More Than Clothing: The Story of a Dreamer and Her Faith." So it's the story about opening the store and just the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur, about mental health as far as an entrepreneur is concerned. So yeah, and it's a journal as well. So you can write your ideas and goals and dreams in the book as well. So that is what it is.
That's awesome. So where can people find this book?
Yes. I have the book today. Yeah, I have the book today. Also, I have a website, so I can give you the website. It's a long website, so, but yeah. Or you can stop in my store. I'm located on Siebenthaler 3183 West Steventhaler Avenue, Suite C, next to King's Furniture. So the store, I have them today, and my website, I can give that to you.
Thank you. I think it's amazing that these are some of the things that during the pandemic, some entrepreneurs were able to explore new opportunities as a result of having some challenges with their current businesses and things like that. So that's another thing that the pandemic has spurred is a lot of business. So Fawn, can you tell us some of your aha moments that you've had during the pandemic?
Yeah, for me it seemed like scary for the whoever want to start the business should be think about right now, and a lot of things coming out like people hard to find people to work for you, and try to do yourself more than what you. I plan to hire people to work for me, and right now hard to find people working, but a lot of people want to eat, but no one want to work. That's a problem right now. And just careful what you try to take care of a lot of things going on in our world. So have to think about ahead, and everything is gonna be okay, but nothing, if you fight for it, you gotta get goal, what you gotta get, you gotta reach goal, what you think, what you want to do. That's all I can tell.
Yeah. So what I heard there is do your due diligence and continue to have hope, right?
Yes.
What advice can you guys share about pivoting and being flexible as an entrepreneur? I think I'm also an entrepreneur, and it's highly important for us to be flexible. We can have a plan, but we have to allow room for error and pivots and things like that. The pandemic definitely taught us that. So can you guys speak to that?
I think it taught me that pivoting a lot sooner is better than later. So in the beginning, I was very like, when my store was literally being flooded, I was like, no, I'm staying here. I'm not moving. This is my store. I was dramatic about it. I was like, this is my store. It needs to be fixed. I'm going to stay here. And someone told me that, and that's when I pivoted then, but it took me a lot longer. She told me that these deals is not a building. It is the store. It is you. So wherever you move, that will go. But in my mind, it was the building. It was here. So I think as far as pivoting, when the pandemic hit, I pivoted to online sales and selling things online. Like I said, we shipped over to 30 states and thousands of items now. But before, I was like, nope, I'm only dating. I'm not shipping. I'm not doing anything. But I think it's important to pivot and be flexible, like the palm tree. I heard the story of a palm tree, that the reason why palm trees are able to survive storms and able to survive hurricanes and weather is because they bend. Most trees aren't able to survive in hurricanes because they'll break. So if you're not like that palm tree, that when storms and weather and things happen, you bend, then you'll break. And so the palm tree, when the storms come, their roots get deeper in the ground, which makes them to be able to survive hurricanes and storms and trials and tribulations, just as us as entrepreneurs, that when you are an entrepreneur and you're in business, you have to be able to be flexible and bend so that your roots will get deeper and you'll be able to survive. So,
Absolutely.
For me, for all who want to run business, keep going for it. In your mind, what you want to be rich, you go. From me, I start from 15 seed and to the second 150 seed. Now I have my own. The first is I be sharing with my girlfriend, partner. After that, you can do your own. More experience, more you can learn, more you can do.
So invest in the resources and also be flexible and open to pivoting so that you can scale. So that's a great point that you pointed out. You going online and doing e-commerce allowed you to scale, whereas before the pandemic, right, you weren't thinking outside of that box. So that's an amazing, I think, victory there. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What opportunities occurred for you guys during the chaos? Because, you know, a lot of times we like to think of the pandemic as it was very tragic. We lost a lot of lives. It completely turned our worlds upside down, but I do believe that there was some silver lining in that for a lot of people. A lot of businesses did grow during the pandemic. A lot of opportunities were presented. So can you talk a little bit about any opportunities that were presented to you guys during the chaos?
I think I touched on some of them. The opportunities from the SBA and the Montgomery County CARES Act, different things like that were able to help sustain businesses. There were funding available. And previously, there was no way they were looking at, looking at small businesses and that, like, micro businesses as far as that is concerned. So also, like I said, pivoting onto online sales, and now I have a group of people so I create a subgroup of my company. We have about 1,700 people in there, and they're constantly buying and constantly, so I'm shipping things out today. So also, as far as writing a book, that was definitely silver lining, and just the time to rest. I think the rest part was definitely needed. And resting when everyone else was resting, like sometimes I felt like in the past it's like resting was, I was being lazy, or I wasn't a good entrepreneur. I needed to go harder, I needed to do more, but having that time to rest was important. So
Absolutely.
it's a silver lining, definitely.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Rest was good. Fawn, could you talk about any of the opportunities that were presented to you during the chaos?
I need to pass this one. This question is hard for me to explain.
Okay, not a problem at all. Also, so would you guys say that you evolved as a business owner? Would you also say as a person? Because I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we don't take into consideration that we are people, we are human beings, we are not machines, even though we grind a lot. Have you guys evolved at all as a result of the pandemic? Just some new insights maybe that you learned about yourself during the last year, as well as this year, because 2021, we're still in a pandemic. We thought we were coming out, but we may be going back in. But how have you guys evolved?
I think I evolved into my personality. Like before, I thought I had to hide this goofy, crazy personality. Now I do Facebook Lives and shows, and I act a complete fool. And my customers love it. I dress up, I wear heels, and I can't walk in heels. And so they have a good time, and I enjoy it now, but that's me in real life. So I think being able to evolve into that and showing people that, I think that's been my highlight, that I can be my crazy, goofy self all the time, and it's okay. So.
Well, that's beautiful, because you are a wonderful person.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For me, is customer is have to be important when come to my business. Is I like to talk with them, and I like to know what they want. I like to take care like the exchange experience, some good, some bad. For me is all the customer right now, like I say, I have to cook in the kitchen. Customer have to open the door to wave me all the time. So it means I highlight with the, customer still interesting on me and trust me to cook for them to eat.
Yeah.
So I happy for that, to cook for. I like to see people eat my food, make them happy. I see when they eat my food, they're happy. I so glad. Even though I work hard, I feel better on that time.
So you've been able to build better relationships with your customers.
Yes, I make a good relationship with customer a lot. So I thought I not make any my customer follow me when I have a new one. So I appreciate and thank you for customer come to see me.
That's awesome. Does the audience have any questions for our two business owners right here about their experience during the pandemic and doing business in 2020. Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We don't celebrate ourselves enough, so that is amazing that your fellow entrepreneur friend here and community member has just done that.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else have any comments or questions for our panel? Not at the moment? Yes.
The question was, how did family help with your business? And my family, my mom is one of my employees, and she's been very paramount in my business. She comes in on days off, and she helps a lot. So I think if it wasn't for her, since from the beginning, then my store wouldn't be what it is or been able to survive. So my mom, and we also have another employee as well. So I think that was they were definitely helpful, especially when you couldn't be around a lot of other people. So when we were doing my lives and things like that, when we were closed, it was me and my mother. So that was helpful. She was very helpful.
So about my family try to help me is 2 years ago is my husband, his passed, so it's kind of tough for me. And I have to take care of my mother-in-law is 95 years old, so is her niece take care of her. They want me to reach my goal. So I have one daughter to try to helping me. Usually she never helping, and now when she saw her mother working hard, and she come try to help me do in the kitchen. The kitchen is, you think it's more hard, so she's still doing that for me, so I appreciate for what she done for me.
That's awesome. Anyone else have a question? Okay, so what final thoughts, comments would you like to leave with our audience about doing business in 2020?
I would say doing business in 2020 or any year as an entrepreneur, make sure you have the mental fortitude to survive. Like, I believe now, before I thought entrepreneurship was a lot of hard work and different things, but the mental capacity and having to be mentally strong is definitely important in any business, in any capacity, because when you're an entrepreneur, everything kind of weighs on you. You're the marketer, you're the social media person, you are whatever you do in your business, you're all of that, all of those things. When you're working in corporate America, you had other people to delegate and other people to help you do those things, and you had time off. Now I feel like I am working every time but the 5 or 6 hours a day that I'm asleep. So I feel like I'm constantly thinking about the business. So definitely having mental fortitude and keeping your mind together. Like I said, in the beginning of my business, I cried and slept in my bed a lot more than I want to admit. So I was definitely not healthy then. So definitely making sure your mental health is intact. So
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
For every business, every different. So my business is kind of like I use too much hours for the business, try to prepare before the start working. So whoever want to start this business, is nothing hard. Even though hard, but you make it easy, it will be easy. So who want to start this business, I would like to recommend is go for it, or want to do, you have to do finish for that. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. Thank you. And I do have a question about collaborations and partnerships. I think that is something also the pandemic taught us is that you spoke to being in silos previously, and with funding and resources and opportunities somewhat drying up during the pandemic or being taken off the table, a lot of people had to learn how to collaborate and partner. So did you guys take advantage of any of those opportunities to collaborate with other entrepreneurs or people in the community to help support your business?
Absolutely. So from the beginning of my store, I've always been about collaboration, helping other small businesses, opening my store up to other small businesses. So probably in the process of opening the last 4 years, we've had 50 to 70 small businesses either have a small business Saturday. We had at one point 14 businesses within our store that they sold their items in our store. So that comes and goes, but we've been able to collaborate where they can have their items in our shop and we sell them for them, and they pay a rental fee and they get 100% of their profits. Or they can do a small business Saturday where they come in on Saturdays and showcase their items. So we've been doing that since the beginning. We've had a fashion show, concerts, we've done workout classes, we've hosted different events. So we've done a variety of things. The pandemic kind of slowed that down, but I'm looking forward to getting back into those things and collaborating with other small businesses and other community organizations.
Thank you. And do you find that the collaborations help the other businesses as well?
Yes, I think it's a twofold thing. It helps my business because they're telling people to come to these deals. Also, my customers are able to shop for their items as well. So I think that's been helpful.
Thank you for sharing that. Fawn, do you have anything to add on that about collaborations with other businesses or community resources and things like that that has helped your business?
On the I think I passed this one.
Okay. All right. So we are about at time for our panel. If no one has any questions or comments, we can end now, and we will thank our guests for being here, for sharing their stories.
Thank you.
Thank you.